Despite what you might have heard from Fox News, you're not a socialist if you don't want to invade every other country on earth. In fact, it's just that kind of liberal nation-building foreign policy that has infected the GOP, which is what makes Ron Paul's candidacy so important. He is the only candidate in the race with a constitutional platform and the voting record to back it up. This includes his foreign policy, which is not only constitutional in its legal approach to national defense, but also in line with the ideals of liberty that are enshrined in the Constitution. Joining me now are two fellow members of Veterans for Ron Paul 2012 Adam versus the Man contributor, Jake Diliberto, veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, and Nathan Cox, Army veteran who served in Iraq. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Let's cut right to the chase. You guys swore an oath to the Constitution. Does it bother you to see so many other people in this Republican presidential field asking for your vote, asking for your support, having demonstrated they don't care about that document, having subverted it actively, despite having sworn an oath to that same document, many of them during their public service careers?
Yeah, I mean, Adam, look at this. What do we got? We've got John Bolton, neocon in chief. We've got Dick Cheney's stepson over with the Huntsman. I mean, who can actually do this for the Republicans? Nobody. Ron Paul is the best chance that the GOP has to overthrowing Obama for two major reasons. Number one, Ron Paul is going to be the Eisenhower of our generation, challenging to end the open-ended war in Afghanistan and actually stopping the military-industrial complex that Eisenhower, another Republican, another libertarian, promised to. So that's why he's the best chance.
Nate, anybody else in the field you see any kind of constitutionality, any kind of the commitment from Ron Paul that we appreciate as veterans?
I could maybe say Gary Johnson. He's got some questionable statements on his website concerning his foreign policy. But Ron Paul, like you said earlier, has been consistent for over 20 years, and that's why people like me that uphold our oaths, that's why we love him.
Outstanding. So now let's talk for a second about how your service has influenced your politics. I mean, both of you, like myself, have served abroad. All three of us in Iraq, and Jake as well in Afghanistan. Does it bother you to see the Republican Party, I mean, you guys identify as Republicans, taken over by people who seem to be completely detached from the role of the troops? So how has your experience influenced your perspective on that?
Well, I think Ron Paul has done something profound for us as Republicans. Ron Paul has stared at the Vietnam syndrome, and he's gotten away with, he's rid it of the Republicans of it and said that actually open-ended war and a huge military budget and big rising skyrocket debt is bad for the Republic. It's bad for our liberties. He said it. He's a real Republican, and he's the one that has gained far support. We were both at CPAC this year, and we are both, it was the largest anti-war rally I have ever seen in my entire life. Right. Republicans screaming, thousands of people, old, young, screaming all over the place.
I bet the organizers of CPAC were sitting around last year going, you know what, next year we should have the largest anti-war rally at CPAC. Right? That's how it happened, isn't it?
Well, Cheney came in and he was called a war criminal by Ron Paul supporters. Like, listen, the Republicans are groundswell right now to gain support for libertarian-minded people. And this is a good thing. And I know many people think that I'm a neocon. Totally not true.
All right. Now, your support for Ron Paul, while not sharing his philosophical grounding, is actually really more interesting in a way than someone who just so happens to have the exact same philosophical perspective as Ron Paul. But you don't have that, and you're still supporting him. And that's, I think, really important to underscore here. But you're kind of new to this. We're bringing you into the fold today with Veterans for Ron Paul. And I want to present you with one of our new buttons, Veterans for Ron Paul 2012. And for Nate here.
Here we go, folks.
We've got plenty to go around. If you want to join us, Veterans for Ron Paul. We're just a Facebook group at this point, but we're working on getting a website. Now, Nate, you've been actively involved as a Ron Paul supporter going back to the 2008 campaign. You were actively involved then. You've been involved with the End the Fed cause. You've been with Ron Paul meetups. Tell us about the role of veterans and why it's important for veterans to be speaking out supporting Ron Paul, especially during the 2012 presidential cycle.
Well, if it wasn't for Dr. Paul, I wouldn't be here today. He cured my apathy while I was in Iraq.
Dr. Paul cured my apathy. One of the best slogans out of the last campaign, absolutely.
He woke me up to the ideas of liberty while I was in Iraq, and at that point, you know, I was YouTubing the debates of the presidential debates going on. I started buying his books, and I started sharing what I was learning with my peers and with my leaders. And it's important for people who are still in the military who realize that war is a racket and it's a sham to stand up and stand up against it. Because, you know, everybody who joined the service took the oath. and it shouldn't be taken lightly.
If you want to honor the oath, the only way to do it at this point, if you're a veteran, is to be supporting Ron Paul, really. I mean, there are lots of things you can do to support more constitutional policy, more constitutional governance, but the single thing I think you can do to continue to honor that oath is to be a supporter of Ron Paul in this campaign.
I agree.
But we've got a group going now, Veterans for Ron Paul 2012. We want to encourage anybody who's a veteran or just a supporter of veterans to go check it out and be supportive. But we've also got, we want to encourage people who want to be a part of organizing to email us, VFRP2012@gmail.com. That's VFRP as in Veterans for Ron Paul 2012@gmail.com. And Nate, you just set up a YouTube channel. We want to encourage veterans to make videos and speak out as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, both our Facebook page and our YouTube account. It's a Facebook.com/Vets for Ron Paul, and it's the same thing for YouTube. And we're just encouraging folks right now who are in the military, whether it's prior service or they're currently in, to make videos of why you support it, and either upload it to your account or send us an email and we'll upload it to our account.
And hope.
On the Facebook page, what we want people to do is we really want to get those of you to like the Facebook page. It's Vets for Ron Paul, and comment on the blog post so we know what you're thinking, and then we can start getting people tweeting about it. Because the most important thing right now for us Republicans is getting somebody who can actually challenge the Democrats. And all of the people that we've got declared from the GOP side have been basically complicit in the Democratic policy, with the exception of tax policy and Obamacare. But there's more to the puzzle. We've got to cut the wasteful defense budget and get out of Afghanistan.
All right, guys, we've got just a few minutes. I want to go through the rest of the presidential field here. We're gonna start with we'll go in reverse order from the results of CPAC 2011. 1% coming in last, and that was Haley Barbour. Is he still in the race?
No.
No. John Huntsman.
Dick Cheney's son? I think. I don't even know who he is.
Okay, also coming in at 1%, not much of a threat. John Thune, senator,
former
senator,
no,
also not in. All right, Rick Santorum. I think he's got a body fluid named after him.
I think he has a website.
Okay, now we're getting to the more serious. We've got former Governor Mike Huckabee, the candidate a lot of Republicans thought was very close to Ron Paul.
He needs base practice too much. And he only gets it on Sundays, 1 day a week. He needs to keep practicing. Ain't going to be able to run.
All right, fair enough. Herman Cain, pizza guy? Pizza guy.
Well, if I need one delivered, I'll just be sure to call him. He raised $200,000 last year. I could raise that in an afternoon.
Now, Trump was at the CPAC convention this year, but not registered in the poll.
You can't win when you're crying birther stuff. You just can't win.
And I agree with what Ron Paul said. He's just trying to sell condos.
Well, I hope he's doing well with that, with all the press he's getting. All right. Sarah Palin.
Can't win.
You're such a fan, though.
I like her. She's done good things for women at GOP because she's challenged them to be a part of the establishment. But in many ways, she can't win because, number one, she just alienates too many people. She's a lightning rod for the left, and it's bad for us.
Okay. All right. Mitch Daniels.
Good guy, very similar to Ron Paul, but he said he's not going to run. He said that. We don't know, though.
Okay. Now, maybe a little more interesting. We've seen them working together lately on some things. We see her coming around on foreign policy. Michelle Bachmann.
She's an interesting one. She can win Iowa, but she can't win the rest of America.
She worked for the Fed.
She's what?
She's worked for the Fed.
Worked for the Fed. Well, that's certainly a tough count, but she voted for the audit of the Fed, didn't she?
Yeah, but she also voted for the Patriot Act.
Oh, well, there you go. So unconstitutional. All right. Tim Pawlenty.
You mean the Hollywood video guy?
Okay. Newt Gingrich? Any hope for Newt Gingrich?
No, he's just scamming America. Stop giving him money, America. He is not going to run.
All right. Governor Chris Christie.
He just said he's out.
Oh, excuse me. That's right. Christie's out. So now it gets interesting. Gary Johnson came in with 6% of the vote right in front of Christie at CPAC. Gary Johnson.
How about a Ron Paul, Gary Johnson ticket? Now, that'd be something interesting.
I think it's going to be great to have another libertarian-minded person on the stage. I don't know if I could support him because of his foreign policy stance, but I think it's going to be a great addition to the field. Okay,
aside from the magic underpants, Mitt Romney, Romney Care, Obamacare, is there any chance that he would even stand a chance to challenge Obama with his background?
Absolutely not. And if the GOP was smart, they would just put him down to a meeting and say, sorry, buddy, you're not our guy this year.
Well, imagine that. We're left with the winner of the 2011 CPAC presidential straw poll, Ron Paul, who came in with 30%. Well, anyways, thank you so much for joining us. Please, if you can, check out Veterans for Ron Paul 2012 on Facebook. That was Jake Diliberto, veteran of Iraq and Afghanistan, and Nathan Cox, Army veteran who served in Iraq. When we come back, we'll be joined by Peter Schiff, the economist who was right when everyone else was wrong. He'll also explain why, economically speaking, Ron Paul is our best choice for president. Stay tuned. You're watching Adam versus the Man.